welcome to the Remarketing Podcast. My name is Jerome Lewis. I'm your host for today. The Remarketing Podcast is a podcast where we talk marketing, tech, business, and leadership. We talk these things for real estate agents, real estate investors, and real estate entrepreneurs. The Remarketing Podcast is a podcast that has two purposes. Purpose number one, Charles, to spotlight you, your business, your service, or your product in a way that provides value to you, including market exposure and content creation. Purpose number two, to educate and inform our listeners. With that, we have a special guest and we have a special episode. We're going to be promoting and bringing you an educational event that Charles is hosting for free. But before we get into that, I'm going to give you a little bit of Charles' backstory. All right. So Charles Seaman resides in Charlotte, North Carolina, and serves as the managing partner of Cash Flow Champs. He's responsible for building and maintaining broker relationships and performing and overseeing the company's underwriting activities. He's also involved with the contract negotiation and capital raising to make sure that deals close, remaining involved after closing to manage the assets so that they perform in a manner that provides investors with exceptional returns. He's currently a general partner in 8 multifamily properties totaling 691 units, having went full cycle on one 92-unit multifamily property. Charles, I'm excited that you're here again. Welcome back to the show.
Jerome, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're absolutely welcome, Charles. So what I want to do is I want to talk today about your event that you have upcoming. And to kind of do that, I would like to start off with just a question, right? So people want to get involved in multifamily and investing and this is I know marketing, right? And one of the most important aspects of marketing is understanding the person, the people that you're kind of talking to. So with that, I pose to you the question, who is your event for? What is this event for? Tell us about that.
Good question. So it's for anybody who wants to learn about multifamily. It could be somebody who's brand new that doesn't have any knowledge or expertise in it. And it could be somebody who's advanced that's looking for additional information or more meaningful connections that they can use to grow their business.
Okay. And is this for newbies? Is this for experienced people? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. It's definitely a mix of both.
Okay.
If you put a gun to my head and said pick one or the other, I would say that you'll probably find newer people getting more value out of it. But I think even the more experienced, advanced investors will be able to pick different things up because we have a lot of the leaders in our space speaking at the event that'll be providing great content.
Okay, awesome. And so that'll kind of take me over to the next question. I want to know, what is this event? What is it about? Okay, what is that? What's the Cash Flow Champs Summit? Tell us about that, please.
Sure. The purpose of the event is to have many of the top speakers in our industry providing relevant, current information for people. So it's going to be encompassing topics like capital raising, finding deals.
Okay.
The debt market's been a big thing in the multifamily space this year for sure, just like all real estate asset classes. It'll have information on, how to be acquiring properties and managing the assets, things that are going to be very relevant and even more relevant than they were in the past over the next couple of months and years as we have a potential downturn looming, and how to be ready, willing, and able to capitalize on the opportunities that are going to present themselves in the near future.
Okay. And with that, Charles, I'm like a tech person kind of too. So I want to show them the website. Could you would you be okay with walking us through some of the speakers and some of the topics? If
Absolutely.
I do a screen share? Okay. All right. So I'm going to do a screen share and here I am on the website. Take us through the website, Charles.
Sure.
And where should I click?
Sure. This is cfcsummit.com. So you can actually scroll straight down. Everything's on a single page. And on the website, basically we have here a couple of things. So the first thing is our team. We're the ones hosting the event. Six beautiful faces up there. And then we have all the speakers who are the real stars of the event and who people are coming to see and learn from. So our 3 keynote speakers are Trevor McGregor, Rod Khalif, and Brad Sumrock. Trevor is very big on mindset. He does a lot of events and he's world renowned with his work on mindset and coaching and helping people become top performers. Rod and Brad Sumrock are both big-time educators in the multifamily space. They both have big platforms. They both have big education programs, and they're guys that we're very happy to be affiliated with. As you scroll down through some of the other speakers, you'll notice we have a who's list of the multifamily industry. Dan Hanford's one of the top syndicators out there. I know personally because I'm affiliated with one of his meetup groups that I'm a co-organizer for, and I'm very fortunate to be. He's always somebody we look up to that we aspire to, and he'll be speaking at our event about how to properly manage accredited investors, which is a very important topic and one that all of us could learn something from. Dave Lindahl. Dave, similar to Rod Khleif and Brad Samrock, is another major educator in the space. I personally have taken some courses with Dave in the past, and I can attest to them. And he's been around longer than most of us here in the multifamily space. He's got about 2 decades of experience on the education side, even more than that when it comes to actually acquiring assets. So he'll be speaking as well, doing a live Q&A. He'll actually be our closeout speaker at the event, and we're having the attendees get the opportunity to ask Dave whatever questions are on their mind. Mark Kenny, also very active, a lot of units under his belt, also with his own education and coaching program. And then as you come down a little bit further, you have Neil Bawa and Jake and Gino. So Neil Bawa, he's known as the data scientist. For anybody not familiar with him, he takes a lot of different data points and figures out how they can be relevant to making good, informed investment decisions. He'll actually be talking about the destructive impact that interest rates can have. So that should be a very interesting topic, and I'm sure one that all of us will want to see. Uh, Abby has a tremendous platform online, and Gino and his partner Jake, who's actually in the next row, the two of them are also running a successful education and coaching platform, and they'll be speaking about the three-pronged wheelbarrow approach to be a successful multifamily investor.
Charles,
So,
could I interject
yeah,
really quickly? Tell us how, like for the people that kind of see the value already, tell us how we can attend this event.
absolutely. So on this website here, cfcsummit.com, there is an option to register. And let me give you guys the part that you'll really like. Registration is free. So when you click
Okay.
on that, you can go click on the register now button. It'll take you to a separate page. You go in there and input your information. And once you do that, you can register for free.
Okay, so you kind of brought up, like you kind of like ruined my question that I wanted to ask you. I wanted to like, how did you do this for free? Like, how did you get all these powerful speakers? Like, can you take us through that a little bit? Like, this is like crazy. This is a powerhouse lineup right
Absolutely.
here.
Well, admittedly, while I'd like to say that we planned it that way from the beginning, I can't say that we did. There was some
Okay.
learning because it's the first time we've hosted an event of this magnitude.
Mhm.
But I look forward to it and think it'll be a great success for the attendees, the speakers, and for us. And thankfully, we have some good relationships that we built in the industry between my partners and myself. And we were able to use a lot of those relationships to get many of these speakers involved. So that's been a big help, and we think it'll really be a benefit to the attendees. There's definitely a lot of other events of similar magnitude that people do charge for.
Okay.
So the thought we had is let's get as many people as we can. We'll open it up and we'll give people the opportunity. So that way, if they want to come and learn, they have the opportunity to do so. All they need is
Okay.
an internet connection and the ability to register.
Okay. It's a lot here, and this event is happening this weekend, right?
That's correct. November the
Okay.
18th,
And
19th, and 20th.
perfect. Thank you. I don't want to I kind of don't want to spoil you like the rest of the stuff for people, but you were going through the intro so greatly. What do you think is the next best direction for us to take? Because there's a lot of speakers here, a lot of topics. Do you want to
Yeah,
go through the rest of the speakers, or like should they come see the speakers themselves? Like, what do you think
you
is
know
the next
what?
plan of
They may as
action?
well come see them because there'll be a good amount of them. So I'm sure
Okay.
nobody wants to be bored with me rattling them off now. We'll save that for the summit as we introduce them live in the person.
Okay.
One more thing is that this event here is a virtual summit. So if I didn't make that clear, you don't
Okay.
have to be somewhere in person for it. You can watch it right from the comfort of your own living room or home, and it's going to be held on the Hoove app. So for anybody familiar with that, you may have used it for other virtual events in the past. There's a popular one that's out there. And if not, you can download that for free as well. And then you can watch it right on your desktop, laptop, or mobile device.
Awesome. Thank you, Charles. So one of the things, like you've been here before, we've been like in similar coaching programs, similar circles, similar networks. And one of the things that you mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm like, how did you put on this event for free? And you mentioned relationships.
Yeah,
Could you please like tell us about relationships and how important they are to this business?
absolutely. So in the real estate space, and really any business as a whole, relationships and human capital are probably the most important things you have. So some people think, and they think about all the things that are assets in their business, but a lot of times people forget is that human capital is often the greatest asset you have, and sometimes it's the toughest one to value. So maybe that's why people forget it. But the relationships that you build with people and the way you treat people, that carries a lot of weight. It'll impact how willing people are to do things for you when you need them. It'll impact the quality of how they do those things. Sometimes people do things begrudgingly, even if they don't necessarily want to, but they usually do a better job if you build good relationships and if you treated them well in the past.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And really quickly, one of the things that you're helping me realize, I like reached out to Charles because we have a relationship. I said, "Hey, Charles, I got a client and she needs a document, and could you send it?" And Charles said, "Yeah," sent it right over. And I said, "Hey, Charles, how can I bring value to you?" And he said, "Oh, you could just maybe promote the event." I said, "How about you come to the podcast and we promote it that way?" And that was all because of relationships.
Hmm. Yep, that definitely goes a long way. For me personally, on the multifamily side and commercial, I think even more than residential, relationships are key. Every one of my deals has been won through a relationship. Every single one.
Thanks for sharing that, Charles. I appreciate you. I appreciate you popping on, right? And telling us about the event. You went through some of those speakers. It's like that thing is action packed. If anybody has any interest in multifamily, they absolutely have to sign up for that. Tell us again how we can sign up.
Yep. Go to cfcsummit.com, CFC like Cash Flow Champs Summit, SUMMIT.com, and click on the Register Now button, and then you'll be taken to a page where you can register for free.
Okay. Charles, thank you so much. Do you have any final closing statements, final closing words?
Oh, we hope to see everybody there, and we hope that everybody gets a ton of value out of it.
All right. Charles, thank you so much for doing this, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yep. Bye bye.